What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on the recent things that I have noticed about Kevin Durant and LeBron James, right? And so I titled this video, this topic today: Kevin Durant and LeBron James are mama's boys, right? And not to be offensive or anything, but you can tell like the way that Kevin Durant and LeBron James operate that they are mama's boys. These you talking about two men that are very sensitive, and they react, and they not only do they react, but they say things out of emotions. Like recently, about Stephen A. Smith approaching LeBron James approached Stephen A. Smith from at a basketball game because of some disparaging remarks that he thought that Stephen A. Smith said about his son, right? And so now everybody is saying that LeBron James is weak, and he is he looked weak for that move. And after that, Kevin Durant, somebody said something disparaging about Kevin Durant on social media, uh, saying about how Kevin Durant is washed up. And Kevin Durant responded to that immediately on social media saying, well, if I'm washed up, then that means both of us are washed up, because I get the person said something about being over 35, and Kevin Durant said something, well, you over 35, so that means that both of us is washed up. And so Kevin Durant always react, to not just people in the media, but like fans. He react to fans when they say things about him. And that is, in my opinion, that's a reflection of these two guys, growing up like in single parent households. And it's a reflection of that. And as a man who was in that situation, I grew up in a single parent household, and a friend of mine brought it to my attention that, when I was young, that he could tell that, I was, I was raised by my mother. I grew up in the house with my mother and my two sisters. And he said that his father said, that men who grow up in a single parent home, they seem to be like more reactionary. They seem to be like more so wear their feelings and their emotions on their sleeve. And so at first I kind of took offense to that, right? But then I looked at like the guys who I know who had their fathers, um, in their life, and I could see that they act different than me and some of the other guys who didn't have our fathers there. The guys who had, they just came from single parent homes. Those guys were like, yeah, more likely to just react than to try to, sit back and just analyze the situation. And so once I realized that, and once I got over that initial what I would say, like, I was offended at first. Once I got over that, then I started to just like try to control my emotions and try to be like more stoic about situations, and never panic, and like I said, never react, never let nobody get like a rise out of me. Be more intentional in my in everything I do. I'm just more intentional with everything I do, right? And I see that these guys, LeBron James and Kevin Durant, are not like that. You can tell because, like I said, they just react to anything, and it's not good for people to know that they can get a rise out of you, because people can trick you out of your position. Somebody jealous, can really put you in a situation where you lose money, or even a more serious situation, they might be able to put you in a situation where you have to go to prison. And so you don't want to be the kind of guy that's reactionary, or the kind of guy that people can manipulate like that through your emotions. That and that shows, and they on the court, even on a basketball court, you can tell. If, for instance, look at Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry do not have the same issues and the same problems as um LeBron James or Kevin Durant. He just don't have those issues. Steph Curry is someone who is more emotionally. He's more like on an even keel, and you don't really get a whole lot of reaction from him, even from the media. Like when you can tell, like when the media is interviewing Steph Curry, he don't really give them a whole lot of a lot to react to. He just gives you the basic answers, and then he just go ahead about his business, and that's the way he conduct himself even on the court. People say stuff about Steph Curry that he probably don't like. They talk about his wife. I know he don't like that. For a while, people used to say stuff about his wife, but he never posted anything on social media. You don't hear too much of. He just, he handled that situation like a professional. Um, I'm gonna give you another example. I remember, like if you look at Michael Jordan, like the way they said Michael Jordan, had a gambling issue. He had issues, that happened in his family where where he could have easily come out and went attack the media or went after the media, because of some of the things they said about his father after his father passed. But Mike never did that, and so that's the right way to handle those situations. But the reason why they handle those situations, you talking about Michael Jordan and Steph Curry come from two-parent households. So their demeanors are totally different from Kevin Durant and LeBron James. You think about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson come from a two-parent household. So his demeanor is different. His demeanor is different because of that two-parent household, that father figure. Tiger Woods, like Tiger Woods, people think that his interviews are dry and boring, and but he was, he had his father in his life. You need that male figure in your life, that calming presence, in order for you to maintain your focus, not react, and be under control. That type of attitude, all it even benefited Venus and Serena Williams. People used to say racist things about them, say things about their looks, their comments on their body, and their father always told them, do not feed into that nonsense. Don't, even people who wanted to interview them after tennis matches had disparaging things to say about them, but they still answered the questions and they still was professional. And so, you know, you can tell. It's just obvious that these guys, like I said, you got a different, you just have different mindsets or different way of moving. Like if you come from a two-parent household versus someone who comes from a single parent household. Another example, like one of my favorite basketball players, like Allen Iverson, and he had that famous interview when they were talking. He had a argument with Larry Brown over practice. Larry Brown thought that he should, he wasn't going hard in practice, and for years, Allen Iverson practice. Are we talking about practice? you know, and that just became like almost like a meme, or that just became popular because he kind of like Allen Iverson kind of like he kind of lost it, and got emotional about the situation. And his point, Allen Iverson's point was, you see what kind of effort that I give during the game, and you want me to, and you worried about how I practice. You know how I play when I get out on the court, and you want me to, you complaining about practice, and we talking about practice. But and at the time, I thought Allen Iverson was right, but you know, um, and it didn't even matter if Allen Iverson was right or not. Like if Allen Iverson had to maintain his composure during that interview, then that people wouldn't have been able to make a big deal out of it. But Allen Iverson, like I said, one of my favorite basketball players behind Michael Jordan, he came from a single parent household. So Allen Iverson's a very emotional dude. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. And so guys like us who come from that background, we tend to do that, but we have to be aware. We got to be aware of that, like wearing your emotions on your sleeve, because a lot of times it comes back to haunt you. And you can see with Kevin Durant and LeBron James, the decision, like them being emotional guys, it comes back to haunt them. And so people say, well, why, don't nobody go after Steph Curry? Why they don't mess with Steph Curry? Because Steph Curry he don't wear his emotion on his sleeves, and he don't give you more ammunition to come after him. People going to say what they're going to say about Steph Curry, right? But he, you're going to have to dig, or you're going to have to even make up something to go after him. But he's not going to be responsible for giving you more ammunition to use against him. Kevin Durant, not the case with Kevin Durant and LeBron James. They're going to give you all of this, um, ammunition to come after them. And then they're going to wonder, like, why is everybody picking on me? Why is everybody constantly coming after me? Because the more ammunition you give them, the more they're going, the more people going to run with it, the more they're going to use it. Steph Curry, man, he don't do that. And you can tell, man, and Steph Curry, like his father also played in the league. So he's well, he's well versed, he's well trained into how to handle these type situations. How to move or act like when you are, when you're in a media environment, or people looking for um they're looking for you to give them like a sound bite so they can they can blow this thing out of proportion. But Steph Curry never falls into that. Michael Jordan never fell into that. Um, Magic Johnson, they don't feed into that stuff. Now, Isaiah Thomas did. I just watched a video of Isaiah Thomas punching Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn was holding the ball over his head with one hand and was kind of shielding Isaiah Thomas off with his other arm. And Isaiah Thomas got mad because he couldn't get to the ball and took a swing at him. Just almost like he had lost it. You know, and so that's just that like somebody getting emotional like that, because that's just like if you holding something behind or away from like a kid, or maybe like, or a female or something, and she get mad because she not strong enough to get to it, and then she's take a swing. That's exactly what, I mean, he looked like a chick in that situation. Isaiah Thomas actually looked like a petulant child or an immature woman in that situation when he took a swing at Rick Mahorn. And Rick Mahorn was just sunning him, treated him like a little boy. But he's a product of a single parent home. And I say all that to say this. LeBron James and Kevin Durant are not, they are not players that, they are not people that the new generation of NBA players are going to emulate. And they're not going to do it. And the reason why this new generation is not going to follow in LeBron James and Kevin Durant footsteps is because they see that every move that these guys have made have basically backfired throughout their careers. Everything, all this turmoil surrounding these two guys, man, and all the media, all they get attacked and stuff like that. They are just walking textbooks for what not to do in your career. And so these young guys that's coming up, they're going to be taking pages from the Steph Curry playbook, but they're not going to be taking pages from LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So and that's why I think the NBA is probably going to be in good hands with this new generation of ball players coming behind them because these franchise ball players, they saw what happened to LeBron James, mo- like what people think. They know what people think around the league for LeBron James to hop from team to team. They don't, they don't think it's cool. Same thing with Kevin Durant. They don't think that like Kevin Durant moving from team to team and not being able to, if it wasn't for Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, for him to build a winning franchise by himself or with his own teammates, they don't see that as a win. They don't see those guys' careers as being successful, no matter what the media tell you. No matter what Nick Wright say or what Shannon Sharp say, these young guys not gonna go for that. They not gonna go for that, especially the franchise ball players, like I said, who are trying to build a brand, and the guys who know that they gotta win in order to be considered in that upper echelon of ball players. They're not gonna follow in the footsteps of LeBron James, and they're not gonna follow in the footsteps of Kevin Durant. They're just not gonna do it. And and the reason why they're not gonna do it is for selfish reasons because they don't want their careers to go down the same path that those guys went, you know. And so, like I said, they're gonna be taking a page out of Steph Curry's playbook, but they're not following after those guys. And I think Kevin Durant and LeBron James are starting to realize, especially now that they're getting towards the end of their career, that they messed up. They messed up. Same thing with James Harden. He messed up. All that moving around from team to team, and you messed up. You need to a franchise ball player need to just to sit in one spot. Even if you only win one or two rings, you sit in one spot and you allow your good coaches and good GMs to build around you. That's the best chance you have. Other than that, you ring chasing rather than trying to build a championship or build a dynasty. You know, is not a good thing. So, that's my take on it. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.